Test 1, 2. Are we here? You guys here?
I can hear you loud and clear.
You guys hear loud and clear. Good. Thank you.
Sweet.
Thank you. Rise Up Nation, welcome back to Rise Up in Real Estate. We're in the middle of Season 8, and today is a special, special day because we're on location in Las Vegas, on a stage, live. I'm hoping that you guys out there in Never Neverland can see us. If you're on the internet, if you're on YouTube, if you have to be on our Facebook channels, I would love for you to send. Let me explain to you how this is going to go. You're going to make a comment, you're going to ask a question online, and you are going to be received by my co-host who's off screen today, Ashley Lamborn. Those of you in the audience can give her a big hand. She's over here. She's going to be seeing comments, and then she has a live mic. She's going to throw the questions to us if we have any. Let me give you a little bit of an introduction here to what Rise Up in Real Estate is. Rise Up in Real Estate is in Season 8. It's a podcast that we created several years ago with the idea of finding the extra in ordinary people. So we're hoping the podcast is extraordinary. What we do is a live stream every Wednesday, 10 o'clock Eastern normally today because we're in Vegas. I think it's 1 p.m. there. It's 11 o'clock here.
I don't know what day it is.
Tyler hasn't been to bed in a few days. But anyway, we do a live stream, which is live, unedited, with the guests online that can ask questions. We throw them to our guests, and we discuss things. And then the following Monday, that Wednesday live stream turns into a podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, whatever you want to find it. We are called Rise Up in Real Estate. If you look us up even now on YouTube, you'll see us live right there. Now, turn your phone down because you're going to hear it in like 6 different stereo sound if you get it on the internet. So that's the setup. This is really cool. We want to thank REMAX for allowing us to be here on the stage. The session for today is just ending, so I anticipate it's going to get noisier with more people in the room. Ashley, I would like to give you a chance to say hello on the microphone to make sure I can hear you, make sure the audience can hear you. Do you have anybody on yet or any questions that you can throw over to us?
All right. Can you hear me, Todd?
I can hear you loud and clear, yeah.
Great. So we have Sue O'Shea, who has already put a comment to say hello from Vegas, but she's also front and center today in your audience. Thanks, Sue. So we are live. Everything seems to be working, and happy to be here.
We're getting a lot of Sue, and that's always okay to get a lot of Sue. So we're going to try to keep this to about 45 minutes. I am very long-winded. You will find this out. I do this podcast for myself. I'll be honest, in the very beginning, I learned so much about everyone. I learned so much about what they're involved in, who they are, what they are. But today, we are lucky, we're fortunate. And by the way, this is recorded, so we will edit this and put it out as the real podcast. We're talking about Season 8 for us has been the agent of the future. When I say that, though, Tyler, people think, let's put on an astronaut suit, jump out of a plane. Robots, like let's be robots. But my guest today, seriously, of all the people that I've heard talking about artificial intelligence, AI, and how it affects us, that is part of the agent of the future. Today, I want to introduce to you all to my friend, Tyler Morton. Tyler, honored to have you. We've done this a few times, and I'm just glad that you're willing to do it again. So,
love joining. So you run a fantastic show. Love doing it, and on this stage is even cooler. So.
Isn't it cool?
Yeah.
I'm disappointed I can't really see myself because I'm all about seeing myself, and there we are. Look, oh gosh.
Lose my headphones.
Yeah, well, Tyler's headphones just fell off. We're very, very professional here at Rise Up in Real Estate. I want to shout out to Kelly also for being so helpful in everything that you did to put this all together. And the guys at the soundboard deserve coffee. If you guys want to go grab them a coffee, maybe even liquor for what they did for us to get this whole thing put together this morning. I literally walked in here at 10 o'clock, and it was like I might have unplugged everything they had plugged in all week long and said, start over. This is what we're going to do, and they pulled it off. Miraculous. Give them a hand. Miraculous work. And I don't know how they do it looking so calm, Tyler.
No, I don't know, because you know, like I know, when you're setting stuff up for live streams, it is the most stressful last 5 minutes before a podcast that you could possibly have. So kudos to you guys.
And they're sipping coffee, talking to their friends on the phone, texting, playing video games, and it all came together. But it was interesting a little while ago. My good friend Tom Maynard walked through the room, and I kind of think like Tom is like the guru of all things.
The overseer.
Yes, it was almost a little bit like Jesus walked through the room, and it just kind of stopped, and everybody's like, Tom just made eye contact with the cool guys at the soundboard, and the cool guys at the soundboard just looked back at Tom, and it was like peace fell over the universe. It was so nice. And here we are. live. It's exciting. So I want to do something different with Tyler today because everybody asks Tyler all over the country, come spend an hour with my agents and tell me about artificial intelligence, how it affects my business. We will get there. But I wanted to start with a little bit more personal stuff. And Ashley, I'm not sure the best way to do questions. Maybe every once in a while I'll remember that you're over there and I'll ask you, or you can just interrupt. You're not a rude person, but today you can be rude. So I just thought I'd throw that over there. I want to hear a little bit about who Tyler is apart from AI. I think that's what this show's about. Like, we connect best with stories.
Sure.
And I would love to hear something about you that maybe the normal people don't know. Maybe, I mean, not that happened this week. Keep that private because I know you haven't adapted to it yet. But what is it about Tyler that we might not know? Tell me about your family. Tell me about your past, maybe getting into real estate, whatever you want to talk about for a minute.
Yeah.
Tell us.
I've got a beautiful wife named Jessica, 3 awesome kids, David, Layla, and Jameson. So they keep us certainly very, very busy with all the sports and everything. And I love the chaos. So I thrive in those environments because same with Vegas. I love the chaos of Vegas because it's always something's going on. So when the house is quiet, it's like, oh. But no, got into real estate, it's been 25 years this year, 24. So got in when I was just turned 20, and it's been a wild ride.
Yeah.
I don't think my math just worked, thinking in my head right now.
Well, you know what? We don't do math. We're agents. Only math we know is 3%. So we don't have to worry about that. That's interesting. Shame on us for not asking you about your wife and children more often. That's pretty cool because that's who you are, right? I mean,
yeah.
Behind all of the nonsense, behind all of the attention that you're getting about AI, you have to go home to her and those kids. And I imagine what it's like to be her and them in supporting you and what you've done. Because hasn't your life changed in the last couple of years with time and energy?
For sure. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a balance. And there's nights when I'll pull an all-nighter working on AI tools for our brokerage, and my kid will come downstairs and get breakfast before school, and he's like, "Have you gone to bed?" And it's like, no. But try to do that so that I'm not missing out on time with them, and try to be present, put the phone away when you're spending time with them, because that's one of the hardest parts of balance, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. We talked about it yesterday. The AI saving time, right? Let's leverage. Let's do more and less. My son's on back in Myrtle Beach. He's on the call, and he said he can do things a lot quicker in his second year in real estate because of AI. But for you as a developer, it's a little bit different because you are curious.
Yes.
And you want to know what's next.
I like to break things.
Yeah.
It's a lot of just trial and error. I talked about it yesterday in our panel. In my TED Talk, I said, one of the things that when I get done with sessions, a lot of people come up and ask me, they're like, is all you do is just copy and paste all day? Because that's literally, I'll take screenshots and throw it into AI and ask it how to fix this. And that's my job. I'm a copy and paster.
This is an interesting question I haven't thought to ask you. And by the way, this is not scripted. Those of you that know me know it's not scripted. And that's not always comfortable for my guests, right, Lisa? It's not always comfortable. Have you ever, this is a transparency question, have you ever said to AI, your favorite chat, whatever it might be, how can I parent in this situation?
Yeah, for sure.
Or how can I be a better husband in this situation?
100%. Yeah, it can be your online therapist in some cases. Certainly I'm not trusting it for everything, but research on how to handle a topic a little bit better that maybe a parenting moment that I haven't experienced yet. And that sounds crazy, but it's like, hey, take a deep breath and you'll get through it.
Yeah. You look like such a jolly guy. How do you look so rested? First person I talked to, other than my wife this morning, said, you look tired. I'm like, well, God bless you too. I mean, I have a lot of children. I don't sleep much. So
yeah.
You look so fresh. And
4 or 5 hours of sleep, I'm good.
Ready to go.
Yeah. I'm not pulling the mesh with going to bed at 7:30. So
I'm sure Nimesh is in the audience, isn't he?
No, I doubt
he's in the bed, probably. But he'll listen to this later and be a tremendous supporter. Right. So you're from Ohio.
Yes.
Right?
Born and raised.
Any snow there this winter?
Yeah, we got hammered earlier this year. I think we got like 16, 18 inches the one storm, and that was a lot. So, but again, you get to have those moments with the family because you're all snowed in, and it's cool.
My friend Marissa from Canada told me yesterday their snow banks right now are 10 feet deep.
That's nuts.
And so I said we had 4 inches, and she's like, I don't think she's my friend anymore. She's like, done with that. Ashley, any comments or questions that we need to throw out at all?
Just We just have some people kind of cheering you on. Nick Pelosi says to look at that setup. You're crushing it. Mandy Fulford has requested a childhood picture of Tyler
Oh, man.
to be shared, but I don't think that I have one of those ready to go live. And Sean Kemp says, "What's up, fam?"
That's cool. Those are some agents back at home. We love you guys very much, and you're the reason we're here. And I have seen a childhood picture of this guy.
With orange
and
hair.
It is worth his orange hair. Weren't you a swimmer?
Yeah.
This guy was a swimmer.
Can't tell anymore.
Would
but
you ever have guessed that? I mean, let's be honest. Would either of us make the Olympic swimming team right now? Absolutely not. What did you swim? What was your event?
50 freestyle.
50 freestyle.
Yep.
Were you very aerodynamic?
Yeah.
And you had hair back then? He doesn't have hair underneath that hat.
Yeah, I would typically shave it for the big meets, but yeah, I went to state 3 years and All-American swimming, so.
Listen to
High school All-American, not college.
well, no, you shouldn't have added that. I was all over the future of swimming. And you're from Ohio. Tell me a little bit about how are you the way that you are? Like, not everybody in the audience, not everybody listening is drawn to, let's go break it, let's dive in, let's figure this thing out, let's build, let's create. Where did that curiosity come from? Is that genetic? Like, tell me a little bit about mom and dad or your brothers or whatever it is about your family that might add to who you are now.
Yeah, so my mom was she was a teacher first and foremost, and then she became a consignment shop owner for it was an antiques town, but she did calligraphy. So creative business owner side probably came from her. My dad was a chief engineer of the B-2 Stealth, aeronautical engineer, aerospace engineer, and they have 15 Eagles. So probably the analytical side came from him. I think early curiosity was, I remember mowing lawns for 2 years to save up for my first computer when I was 12. And I just started breaking that, It's like,
That's so
hey,
interesting.
just get on and try it out and see what this can do.
That is so interesting. Two things about that I love. Like, you meet people in the hallways of this convention, and you say to someone like Tyler, or to, like your dad, like if I asked your dad, hey, what do you do? Give me the answer. What did your dad do for his career?
He would just say, I'm an aerospace engineer.
So he says, I'm an aerospace engineer. Is there anything else that would shut down a conversation more than that? Like, when somebody says that, I'm like, I should have never asked why in the world. And that's it's amazing what he must have been involved in. I can understand a little bit more about you now.
Well, and some of the cool stories, like, growing up, they didn't have there was no cell phones. And so, like, my dad, when stealth was classified, he'd have to go on trips and not be able to tell my mom where he was going. And it was like, hey, if you need to get a hold of me, call the secretary and she'll patch you through. And I'm like, that's crazy. We were just talking off stage about, like, we're trying to keep our kids off iPads more often, right?
Yes.
So.
Yeah, I don't think that would work with Mandy if I just said, I'll be gone for a few weeks,
Yeah.
working on some classified stuff. I'd come home and my bags would be
Yeah,
packed on the
right.
front. Well, maybe not. Hers might be, and I would be left with all the children and all of the dogs. I'm not sure. So that's pretty cool. And you were 12 years old. You had a computer. You were already trying to break it.
Yeah.
John Armstrong yesterday shared something pretty cool, I thought, or 2 days ago. He said, and I want to get your opinion on this, when he's hiring and recruiting in the recruiting room as a broker owner, his favorite question to ask is, when did you start working and what were you doing? And I think agents can learn something from this about who you are, and even your clients. I think this can parlay that way, but he would tell me what, like, he would always often look at that answer and tell me what you got out of that, because you were sitting at that table.
Yeah, that was one of the best takeaways that I had from this conference so far. For us hiring, new agents, it's, you get to find out their why and their drive and figure out if they have it or not, because some agents do and some agents don't. And so I think it's that one question answers it in a nutshell, and so that's cool.
And that'd be cool to go around the room or on the call here today. You guys just throw out what you do. Like, what was your first job and how old were you? I'd love to know that about Ashley, actually. Ashley, tell me that about you. It's so weird. I feel like I'm talking to someone that's in the cloud. Ashley?
Yes, Tad.
Tell me
Tad.
about your first job. How old were you and what were you doing?
My first job, like, as a teenager, or like my first career?
No, just the first thing you ever did to try to earn money.
I coached children's gymnastics, my first job ever, but that was not my first career.
What was your first career?
I worked for a biotech company in their DNA lab.
Now, listen, now we can get very there's another one that if they say that to you in the marketplace.
Oh, cool. See you later.
Yeah, nice talking to you. How's the weather, right? No, Ashley, thank you for sharing that. That's so. She has a pretty cool background in coaching, and she's our director of agent development at. And we're from South Carolina, North Carolina. I should have said that for those of you that I might not know. We live in Murrells Inlet, which is coastal South Carolina. We have offices from Wilmington down to Charleston, so that's kind of our footprint. What has been the best thing, other than John's comment, Tyler? We're sitting here, by the way, at our international convention that happens every year in Las Vegas. We're in Las Vegas still, right?
Yep.
We are. We're in the marketplace. How many of these have you been to, by the way?
Oh, man.
Off the top?
It's probably 16.
16?
Yeah, I've only missed a few.
That's good. I'm about 12, I think 10 or 12 in myself. What's been your, and you guys can hop in and say this too. We do have a live mic right there. I should have said that 45 minutes ago. There's a live mic there. You guys can step up and ask questions if you want. We are an open book. You can ask me literally anything you want, and I can handle it. Did you hear that? Anything you want, I can handle it. But what's the feel like this international convention for you? And you guys too, hop up and
yeah. The energy has been insane. I mean, when I walked in the marketplace, it was huge rush of crowd, which typically happens. But man, the brand, just everything looks fresh and exciting, and it's just different. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, I appreciate that too. I have enjoyed the different feel. Have you learned something, like other than John's comment? You're a teacher, like you've been on the stages, you've done a TED Talk, you've done a panel, you've done probably a lot of other stuff, but have you learned one thing that you feel like you can take back, or have you even gotten there yet in your dissemination of the information?
No, for us, we were actually talking about it. I was talking with Christy and Kent, my partners down in Kentucky, last night at dinner, and I said, hey, it might have been you talking about on the panel yesterday, talking about planning out the training, like 4 segments or seasons of batch classes for our office. So that was a big one. And I think we're going to go back and implement that. And that's the same thing I tell agents when they go to these conferences. You're overwhelmed with a ton of information. So take back 1 or 2 things that you're going to implement into your business.
Yeah, and let's be honest, probably our entire business is built on things we learned from each other.
100%.
And from people in this building.
Yeah, I said yesterday, I wouldn't be in the position that I'm in without people like you and our group, Mastermind, and other brokers that I've asked questions to along the way, or agents that had an idea that I stole and took back to Ohio. So that's what's really cool about the network.
That's awesome. Now, I know you guys are chomping at the bit to hear about AI. No one has taken my challenge yet to go to that microphone and ask us a question, but somebody will.
Now's your chance.
Ashley, anything else online or anything you want to throw over this way?
I don't have any new questions online right now.
Okay, awesome.
Yep.
So my son's doing his job, I can see, back in Myrtle Beach, just sitting there typing away. So this is a weird combination of things going on here. We have like several cameras. Like Ashley just popped up on this TV. I had no idea that was going to happen. I told my son he's on Zoom, but he didn't think he was going to be seen. He's just sitting to answer questions and stuff at home in Myrtle Beach. He said, am I going to be seen on the screen? I said, do you want to be? He goes, no, not really. And I said, well, just do me a favor and get dressed. Because if these geniuses by accident or on purpose find a button that can play his live stream from his living room, it'll be a bad scene for all of us. Trust me. So, Lawton, we appreciate your help back at home. Tyler, tell me, what was your big thing before AI? Because I know now it's AI, but what were you about 2 or 3 years ago? Or have you been doing AI for maybe I'm late to the game. You've been doing it for 6 or 7 years and we don't even know it.
No, probably just over 3 years now, 4 years. But before that, it was still tech-driven. We'd like to my history was I opened my brokerage in 2000. I bought the franchise in 06, opened in 07, right before the market did what it did.
So you're not a prophet, is what I'm saying.
No. But it made us who we are today.
Absolutely.
Because I didn't have 10 employees and 10,000 square feet of office space and all this different technology. And so we built a lot of our own. We systemized what we did so that we could scale. And that's kind of been what we've done ever since then. And so the AI is just the next iteration. Before that, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, the buzzword was social media, right? And so you're going to have iterations of this. Probably 10 years before that, it was IDX, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you're going to have iterations of how things change the way we do business. But at the end of the day, it's still a relational business. It's still human interaction. And so it's nothing in that front has changed. AI just makes it a little bit easier.
So you were probably plugging along, trying to be efficient and effective as you could be with the tools that you had.
Yeah.
And do you remember the day that you were introduced to AI? Like the very first time you heard about it or thought about it, tell me about that moment. Like, was it an aha moment or was it like an oh crap moment? What was it like for you? Do you remember?
I still have these moments. So a good friend of mine, he owned a online guitar lesson company and sold it for a ton of money. He's one of the most techie people that I know, and we have a group chat. And he sent me just a link to it, and I was like, "What is this?" So I clicked it. And we started having conversations about what it was capable of. And it's just one of those moments where you sit there and you stare at a blank wall. And it's like, this is going to change the world. And we're seeing that in every aspect of what it's capable of. And it's moving faster than ever. So it's a little bit terrifying. I know there's lots of headline news talking about what it's capable of. But I think it was last year, it was one of the founders of OpenAI was on stage, and he was talking about, but yeah, we're going to see exponential growth in these other areas that are going to change humanity in positive ways. You're going to see cures to cancer. You're going to see faster research for new medicines and all this other really cool stuff. So that's what I'm super excited for.
So you don't tend to default. We've got water right there too, buddy, if you're choking to death, and that's hard because the air quality's so good here in Vegas.
Too many nights sitting in the cigar lounge with.
Oh, it's been fantastic for my sinuses. I'm so excited to get back on a plane tomorrow at 30,000 feet.
Right.
My eyebrows are going to feel like, Ernie and Bert from back in the day. So you aren't a fear-based guy. Like you face the things and say, how can I make this?
Yeah.
How can I use it?
Yeah, I mean, with any tools or technology, people are going to use it for bad things, right? That's inherent with technology. But I think the good outweighs the bad if we keep guardrails and if certain things happen. But I think the fear right now in a lot of industries is, will AI replace X, right? And I think it will change how we do business. There will be, I want to be careful with how I say this, but there will be job replacement in certain instances. Contract to close. I think that will be one of the first because that is a deeply automated, AI can do all of the things that a contract coordinator would do simply from having that contract. All the deadlines are in there. And I hate saying that because I use a contract coordinator and they're awesome. Like they keep my business together. So maybe it doesn't replace them immediately. Maybe it's agents start using it or the contract coordinator starts using it to enhance that experience even more.
Right.
Because there's still that layer of human interaction that needs to happen to watch I'll say manage that process because it's not perfect. But
yeah.
I said it yesterday, imagine the brokerage down the street from you or the agent down the street from you hires 10, 20 MIT graduates to do X, Y, and Z for them. What does their business look like in 12 months? And it never sleeps, it never eats, doesn't take vacations. It can be running for you 24/7. And I think the management of that is what will be the next iteration of what agents need to really focus on and spend time developing out what that looks like. And it caught me, I said staring at the wall, it caught me in my presentation the other day because I said, here's what I'm using it for, but I hadn't even asked what should I be using it for. It's
right.
better at knowing that than I am. So you have to reframe how you think through the process to get the desired outcome.
And what is it that drives you to do that? Why do you keep pushing and growing and learning? And that sounds like a silly question, but what's the end game for you, or what are you shooting for?
Man, I'm just curious as to what it's capable of.
Yeah.
And so literally I will ask it, hey, can you do this? And it will think for a second, and then it will work through a solution. And that's cool to me. And sometimes, right now, there's not a lot of tools that are capable of everything, right? And so it's very specific. But yeah, I made a desktop app, and I don't know how to code. I made a desktop app for my computer that does real-time sentiment for coaching calls. That's cool to me because it helps. We talked about disk profiles yesterday.
Yep.
And it's so cool that it can do that.
Yeah, how do you guys feel about it? Like I have tons of questions. Anything else, Ashley?
Yeah, I've got one in the chat from Mandy Fulford. Her question is, what's the one AI shift most real estate professionals are underestimating right now?
I'm assuming that question's for Tyler,
Go for
since
it.
it's for my wife. No, you go ahead.
I don't know. There's not one monumental shift or tool that will be used. Unfortunately, I think agents, and this has been a trend since social media, right? Agents used to just sell houses, and now you have to be a social media star and know how to run Facebook ads or Google ads and do pay-per-click and all these different things. So the scope of what an agent has to learn how to do has grown exponentially. And I think AI will streamline that process because you no longer have to be the expert. It can be your expert assistant to help you guide you through those processes. For instance, it's been years since I've done Facebook ads personally, or Google pay-per-click. It's been 2 years since I've been in there, and I was able to go on with Claude the other day, which just lives in your browser. So I've got Google Chrome open. I click on the Claude button. It pops up on the side just like ChatGPT does. And I just typed in like, hey, here's my ad campaigns. I need to restart these. Can you optimize them for today's pay-per-click? And it just takes over your screen and starts clicking and typing and doing everything for you as an SEO or a pay-per-click expert, and it's way better at it than I am. So I think that will be the shift, is it will actually take some pressure off of agents from needing to know how to do everything. But I think the important part is that they maintain the knowledge of how to do their primary job, which is real estate.
Yeah. When you talk about contract to close, that was a great question, by the way. Contract to close, I don't know why, but the first thing, because you're talking about replacement of individuals or jobs, maybe not individuals, but roles, because good individuals will last. But when you said it, the first thing that popped in my head was empathy. Yeah. And compassion and understanding, and words that I'm not sure computers are there yet. The bots aren't there yet. The chat's not there yet, where it can settle your emotions. It can walk you through a scenario. Am I right or wrong?
No, you're absolutely right. Typically when I do my sessions, I play this clip from Gary V. Gary Vaynerchuk does an awesome job explaining, like, hey, nobody felt bad, and it's awful because when you think about it, but there is a relocation, so it's not a replacement, it's a relocation. But nobody felt bad for the guy that bought 4,000 horses the day that Henry Ford was like, I've got an idea. Mm-hmm. And, we look at Uber wasn't a thing. DoorDash wasn't a thing 10 years ago. So look at all the new job creation. I think there's going to be exponential job creation. So it's going to be a relocation of how that all operates.
Yeah, what you're willing. But the people what I'm dumbfounded by is the fear. Like, yeah. It shuts people down, and maybe somebody here online understands what I'm saying, where you're not willing to do what you've done and embrace and try to just be curious and try to figure it out from your perspective, because those are the people that will probably get shifted into these new roles. They'll be present in the conversation. They'll be part of it, like you will. You've already, and you can talk about it if you want to, like you've already got opportunities with Tori, Victoria. It's been a line of things for you, but you've had those opportunities because you're present in the conversation, right?
Yeah, it wasn't that I know how to code. Again, I spent countless hours overnight, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. every night, just copying and pasting, asking questions, making it better. And I think that's an opportunity that all of us have. When I said, as a broker, we have what happens if the brokerage down the street hired 10 people, or for you guys, the agents. What happens if the agent next door to you has 10 assistants all of a sudden doing all of this stuff for them? You don't get there overnight. And so just start having the conversation. And when you don't know what to ask AI what you should be asking it. But talk to AI. It sounds ridiculous, but when you're driving, most of you are in the car a lot, open it up, hit the voice mode, and just start asking questions. And it will reframe how you think. And I think that's the opportunity that everyone here has, is to leverage that, because it will earn back our time so we can do stuff that we love, like spending time with our family. So you're not up learning how to do Google pay-per-click at 10 p.m. So take the 10 minutes a day to have those conversations, ask what it's capable of, and it will reframe how you think and how you approach what task you will outsourced to AI.
Yeah, a question for the audience, if anybody wants to dare ask it. How many of you, or answer it, how many of you would say that you are intermediate AI users, like in the middle? Raise your hand high, because I can see you out there, even though the lights are bright. Some of you, I love how realtors answer questions. They can't just answer it. They got to give somebody did this. I love it. I'm glad I'm not married to you, by the way, because it's complicated. But how many of you are strictly beginners? Raise your hand high, strictly beginners. You see this, Tyler?
Yeah.
This is what's cool to me, because how many are you would dare say you're experts? Okay, those of you that say you're beginners, rather than me pontificate about what I love about this guy and want to know, because it's long and deep, right? This is a friend of mine. Why don't you go to the microphone and ask a question? What do you want to know? What would you like to hear from him in our conversation? Because I've got a couple of questions I think a beginner would ask. Or intermediate, like why are you intermediate? Where do you want to be? What are you trying to use it for? What are you trying to get to an advanced level? Do you think you're an advanced level?
Close. I think I know how to connect the tools that I need. But again, when I don't know, I still ask AI, like, hey, what should I be considering? Like, what are the risks of this, and what is the desired outcome that I should be expecting? And that sounds silly, because I should know what the desired outcome of some of this is, but there's things, and I think that's where you have those stare at the wall moments, where you're just like, we haven't even thought of everything that this is capable of yet. We're not there yet. And so it will be able to think of that in the next year.
That is crazy. How many times has he mentioned that he stares at the wall a lot? The guy probably needs to get some pictures. You got some pictures on the wall? You're looking at white. We have a question right here in the room. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I was starting the right way, and what should I be doing right now as a beginner? Like, what's the first thing I should be doing?
Yeah, I would start with having those 10-minute conversations every day with AI to ask tell it everything about your business. So it doesn't matter what your niche is, but tell it what your goals are and ask it how you can get there. So, because it's going to give everyone here a different answer based on how you want to approach it. Because there's people that do, like I did one the other day, it was deep research on farming markets in my particular city. So the prompt was super long, but it was basically I said, here's 5,000 past sales from my MLS. The more data you can give it, the better it's going to help you. But I gave it 5,000 past sales, and I was like, hey, what are the top 3 neighborhoods that I should be marketing to that don't have any agent with any dominance? That's not a report that I could ever put together myself without hundreds of hours of research. But that prompt didn't come overnight either. It came from me talking to it for 2 years, asking it, hey, how can I improve this? And I was helping an agent with that study. But other agents, like I said, I'm using it for Google Pay-Per-Click. It really just depends on what your desired outcome is. But I would ask it, hey, this is my goal. Maybe it's leads, right? Or marketing to your sphere. Start asking it those kind of questions, like how do I improve on this? And it will give you better outputs than I'll be able to give you. But start having those 10-minute conversations for sure.
So let me take it a step back. Would you recommend the paid version of ChatGPT?
Yes.
As a beginner?
Yes. It's the best $20 a month I spend.
$20 a month, the paid version. And then there is a button that you can literally have, like Michael did in the opening session. You can literally have, and shout out to Michael Thorne, who's leading in this arena as well, which I love. You can literally have a conversation. And the things that are burning, sir, that asked the question, James Brophy, the things that are burning in your mind about it, ask the tool.
Yeah, I don't have a profound answer on where to start, because when you don't
Literally,
know,
that's it.
Ask it where you should start, because it's going to give you a better direction than I can.
Let's get your question. Thank you for coming up. Go ahead. Tell us your name, too.
Hi, Stephen Lau from REMAX in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada.
Steven.
Okay. So I like where you're going with the data analytics. So that's my next step. I'm trying to train it. by uploading all the recent sold prices. Look at the active listings, which ones are the most likely to sell. And how I've used ChatGPT to save me at least 3 hours per listing I upload is by asking it to see and review all the photos I upload of the listing. I'm uploading the floor plan of the house, the room measurements, all the photos, even the video, and I'll type in a few key things about the neighborhood, the pros and cons, and the features of the house specifically. And I say, I only have 1,020 characters I can write on MLS. Write it for me, and I will keep tweaking it. So what used to take 3 hours now takes about 30 minutes after tweaking. And I just subscribed to the professional edition because when I'm uploading all this data, it's saying, yo, I can only do one listing right now, and I have another one. I have to wait 2 hours because of data limits.
Right.
And I also want you to answer, besides data analytics and how I can leverage it, what are the differences between the basic pro or the plus version? Because I'm now paying 200 USD a month for the professional. I want to make sure I use its extra so-called intelligence over what the other standard versions are. Thanks.
Great question, Stephen. Thank you.
No, and I love the pin, by the
That's
way.
awesome. Yeah, great pin. And let me say one thing. Are you an agent, Stephen? Okay. So those of you in the room on the call, this guy's doing it daily in his business. So grab him afterwards. Like he's a little bit intimidating to talk to. Like this kid knows a lot. He knows a lot, but he's right there in your shoes, right? He's not running a brokerage. He's running a team or an individual agent. So I appreciate your perspective, Stephen, very much. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I think you nailed it. The more data that you can give it, the more you can ask, what can you do with this data? With ChatGPT, I pay for the $20 a month. I don't do the $200. I used to, and I do want to talk about the tools that I use and why I use those different tools. But ChatGPT, I've got 3 years of data that it has on me, right? Because I've talked to it every day. That's why I haven't gotten rid of it. I did export it the other day because I was like, hey, I want to import this into another AI to get different outputs, and that was Claude. But I use OpenAI every day, talking to it, asking it questions, thinking through, brainstorming, stuff like that. You nailed it with the listing descriptions. A lot of agents will say, hey, write me a listing description and give it a few key features. But uploading the photos is brilliant because it will actually see those photos and be able to tell you that it has quartz countertops and cherry hardwood floors, etc. So that's awesome. And the $20 a month version, you have some additional, like you're unlimited with the number of chats you can have. You do get limited on deep research, so you have some other options there. But it allows you to also customize your tone, which is really cool because you can tell it to write like you. So I've got Tech with Ty, which is an email that I send out every week, and I've got 58 of those that I threw in so that it could write like me. Yeah, go ahead.
Should I subscribe to both ChatGPT and Cloud Gemini? Like, I need to know where I should be putting my...
All right,
The
so
question was, what tool should you subscribe to? Because there's a bunch of them.
Yeah,
And Ashley, I see you, and I see you too, Lane. Was that your question? Okay. Ashley, we get you next, okay?
yeah, so I would recommend for those of you that are getting into AI, the $20 a month ChatGPT is the best $20 you could spend. For you, the $200 a month, that's expensive. Like I said, I tried it, and I did it when they first did what's called ChatGPT Operator, which basically was an AI agent you could tell to go do things. So my litmus test for AI agents is always, again, I try to break things. My litmus test is to see if it can enter a listing into the MLS for me. And so I took just a PDF of an old listing and gave it to that agent, and it went on and tried to enter it into the MLS. An operator could not do it. This is a year ago, and that's why I was like, hey, it can't do it. It's not worth the $200 a month to me. Since then, I now use Manus. It's MANUS. And I think I'm on the $40 a month plan for that, and it works as an AI agent, and it can enter stuff onto the MLS for you. Manus is also what I use for the deep research when I gave it the 5,000 previous solds, because it puts together this 14-page executive summary that I think it just goes out and does a better job of doing than deep research with ChatGPT. So I use ChatGPT for my daily chats. I use Manus as an AI agent to do some of those things, and there's a ton of them out there. So I don't want to overwhelm you guys with a ton of these tools, but they keep leapfrog innovating. So every week now, one gets better than the other. It used to be that I used Gemini for image creation. It's called Nano Banana, and if you have a Google account, it's free to do I don't know how many of those. I don't pay for Gemini. It does really good at image creation. So if you want to develop a thumbnail for a YouTube channel, that's what I would use. If I want to stage a photo, that's what I would use. My last demo, though, ChatGPT kicked its butt.
Right.
So it's still slower, but Gemini is very, very good for the most part for staging photos and stuff like that.
So would you mind going back to the microphone? Let's get Ashley's question, and we'll get you next, Stephen, after that. We're on like a live feed here. We got to have it on the microphone. Yeah, Ashley.
Yeah, so we have a few that have come up in the chat here. So first, you've got Graham Nelson, who said that it's Graham and Matt, and that they're using AI to come up with a question to ask you. So their question is, in your opinion, what tasks should brokerages be using AI for right now, and what parts of the client experience should remain 100% human?
Oh my gosh. Thank you, chat, and Graham and Matt, for that.
I love that they used AI to develop the question, but they could have just asked it the same question, too.
Right. Yeah, an extra step. Well, they're rookies. Tyler.
Yeah.
We got to be easy on them. And they're South Carolina boys. They're slow, so
No, I mean, that is a question that I would ask.
throw it back in.
Yeah. And so, again, it's what is your desired outcome? If it's recruiting, then that's what I would focus on. That's what I would use AI for on a daily basis, is to, give it the data for all the recruits that I want to focus on, and then analyze their social profiles and look for, opportunities and sentiments that they're posting. So there's so much that you can do.
So the answer would be to Graham, it depends, and ask chat the question that you just got out of chat.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
Okay.
Yeah, and Stephen, you wanted to ask one more question.
Yeah, from a data analytics perspective, I'm looking at Gemini versus ChatGPT. I haven't had time to really play with Gemini at all. So if I'm trying to feed in raw data, so give me some inferences of some trends. I'll even throw at HPI data, recent sales, but I want more justifiable conclusions I can use to re-explain to my clients which modeling is best and why. And also memory. We have a problem with ChatGPT because I think a lot of people don't know how to use projects. So what I've just been studying is that you should have a template document that you have to feed into each project so it doesn't forget all the things you've trained it about before. So I want some techniques on how you do that for long-term memory.
Yeah, and so
Thanks, Stephen.
it's for those of you, I'm going to dumb that down just a little bit. When you're having when you're having conversations with ChatGPT or any AI, you would think that it has a persistent memory and it remembers what you told it 6 months ago, but it doesn't. So what he was talking about is you can create project folders in ChatGPT, and it will retain that knowledge based on that specific subject. So like Victoria Ortori, my AI that I've created for our office, I've got a folder there, and so it knows everything about that one single project. It has all the previous screenshots that it can still reference. ChatGPT is still my go-to for that. Again, I'm using that as my go-to for questions for data analytics. I'm using Manus as the agent to go pull. I'm still giving it data, but I'm asking it to go perform tasks with that data. And to give you an example with the farming thing that I did, it gave me the output. It gave me this executive summary on here's the neighborhoods you should farm, here's the market share from these 5 agents, and here's your opportunity cost. I said, well, how much would it cost for me to actually do something with this? And go find every door direct and tell me what the pricing is, and then how much would it be to order postcards, and how can I automate this? And so you just start going down this list. Your mind will start working in ways when you start just talking to it. So there's no wrong or right answer. It's whatever you want to use. I started using Claude more recently because it sits on my desktop as an app, and it can go connect to other tools. So it lives within Chrome. Like I said, it can go and click and do the things that Manus can as well, but it's within that environment. I have a little bit more control over it as opposed to a virtual server where Manus is going and clicking and it's asking for my passwords that I don't love. This is doing it in my browser with Claude. So those are the 3 that I'm using probably primarily right now. But as agents, I mean, this one, I think a lot of agents, hopefully you guys know you can do this. We get asked all the time, what's the age of the furnace? Take a photo of it, take a photo of the sticker on it, and it will tell you the year it was manufactured. And that's an aha moment for a lot of agents to just go, what else can I give it? And it can give me information on. So.
Yeah. Those of us in the Southeast don't know what a furnace is, but we'll get to that. Now, there's some people in the room that are like Steven and like Tyler. Steven Tyler, did you catch that? That are at a different level. All the stuff that he just said for a beginner, you're like, what in the world? Do one thing. Find one, even as complicated as AI is, it's like you got to stack the wins. Find one thing and start digging into that one thing. Get the paid $20 version of ChatGPT and start talking to it. Have the courage to push the button, sit in your car, or get in the woods so nobody else can hear you, and talk to it. I've given mine a name. We can have a conversation in the car. It's really amazing. Ashley, do you have another one? You're amazing at this, by the way. Give Ashley a hand for just being amazing.
Thanks, Tad.
She loves being put on the spot in last-minute things. She hates them all, and that's all this was for her today. So congratulations. You're doing great.
Thanks, Tad. Well, congratulations to you for being on the stage today.
Oh, yeah.
This is fantastic.
Thank you to Tyler for bringing me here.
Yep. So we have a question in here. I don't know the name of the person because it's like a at something something. Anyway, Tyler, what's 1 to 2 things people don't realize makes their life easier or more efficient, which I love. I'm going to go ahead and just ask the second question so I can go back behind the computer. And Haya in the audience here asked, what transparency regulations should exist for AI-generated valuations or materials? So the first one, what makes life easier? Second one, Haya's hitting you just a little harder there with a tough question.
Whew. We have about 10 minutes left to go, Tyler. Keep that in mind as you answer the transparency question from a 23-year-old.
Yeah,
21-year-old who couldn't even drink. Would believe this. She couldn't even drink at the bar last night. They make her go to the room and get her ID in Vegas.
That's great.
Where they never close. It blows my mind. Go ahead.
2 or 3 things that make your life easier. Again, it depends on the task.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. The other day, Claude Desktop, I had multiple offers on a property, and I was like, hey, compare these 2 offers. It goes through. It gives me this beautiful spreadsheet highlighting here, the term here was better. The closing or occupancy date was better over here. Earnest money was higher.
All in one view.
All in one view.
That's awesome.
And it did give a disclaimer at the bottom. So for transparency, that was kind of cool. Obviously, AI can hallucinate. There are times where you ask for something and it gives you something completely different, and it's very, very frustrating. Today's the worst day it's going to be. Tomorrow it's going to be better. The day after that's going to be even better. So it has come so far. If you guys remember, did anyone see the AI video of Will Smith eating spaghetti like 3 years ago? Mm-hmm. It just looks terrible. And now you have deepfakes that you cannot tell the difference of.
Right.
And people are fooled easily. I used the Gemini example of we did something called headline hacking. We had a bear in our market, which we don't typically have bears.
Right.
So you can garner social attention by kind of jumping on top of that opportunity. And so Abby, my marketing director, and I went outside by our REMAX sign, and she acted like she was feeding a bear, and I used Gemini to insert the bear into that photo. And we posted that, and the number of comments that thought she was actually feeding a bear and telling us how dangerous that was were insane.
I was going to say, that is engagement of a different level.
Yes.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I think be transparent. Hey, I used AI to assist me with this. And I think you're going to see more and more disclaimers. And maybe I misunderstood that question. But
no, great. Shout out to our new president, Mr. Chris Lim, walking through the building with Chief Legal Counsel, I should mention, which is a smart thing to do.
What should I say right now? No.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. So to give them a round of applause. Thank you for what you're doing for us. We're excited about the direction, 100%. So we've had a lot of cool people walking through. That was the first chance I had to shout him out while he was walking around. There's also been like a high-level, loud conversation happening over here. I'm hoping it's not the sound guys, but no, I'm just kidding. Great question. Were you going to ask a question? You were at the microphone, and I kept talking and forgot, but you're so handsome. Come on up and ask.
There you go. You're right about that. Okay, quick question here. ChatGPT was the basis for all of us when we started this, and now there's more platforms. And so I have the paid version of ChatGPT. Is there a way to transfer everything I taught from ChatGPT to Gemini or
Great question.
Perplexity?
Yeah, so if you go into your settings, I just did this last week because I wanted it into Claude. But when you go into ChatGPT, if you go to your settings, there is an export function. And I couldn't tell you exactly how to get there, so I would ask ChatGPT, how do I export all my data? And it'll tell you.
That's pretty cool. Isn't it amazing that most of his answers have been Ask Chat? So let me ask you a question, Tyler, that I've been thinking about, and I thought about this right when AI was kind of first being talked about, I think, 3 or 4 years ago. Where does the it's called artificial intelligence, right? That's the words AI. What is the information, like when you ask it a question, where does the information come from?
It depends on which AI system.
Okay.
And so, like originally when we were asking AI questions or ChatGPT, we were looking at data from like 2022. And so that's why when I'm using Manus for some of the research, it's going and grabbing more recent content or data. I use this example. I do have Grok built into my car. I otherwise don't use it, but it's convenient to hit a button on my steering wheel and I'm talking to AI. I asked it a question. I was showing a house, which I don't frequently do, but as I say, agents are always on realtor time. I was running 5 minutes late, hadn't had a chance to even look at the MLS sheet on this place, so I started asking Grok all the questions. And what was insane is it was able to go out and find in some like neighborhood forum that there was like an HOA dispute on like pool permits and all this stuff, and it was just very specific data to this property. And so I started asking it other questions like, hey, if my buyer likes this property, what are the comps? It's pulling real-time data. So it depends on the source.
Okay.
For real-time stuff, I use Perplexity.
Okay.
I use that probably more than Google. And there's free versions of that. There's paid versions of it. I've got the paid version because it has another browser that you can use for automations and stuff like that.
But the information that's out there is information that, like before, I don't know how to ask the question. Before AI was a thing, and even know when that's probably 20 years ago, wasn't that same information on Google? It's getting information that we've been searching for years that we actually put there.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not artificial at all, is what my point is.
No, and you've seen it actually. There's people that are setting up fake websites with irrelevant or fictitious data to feed to these AI systems, which is kind of funny. But you even saw Google, like if you remember, they used to have like 100 pages at the bottom. You'd scroll all the way to the bottom of Google, and it would show like you're on page 1, and it would have 100 of those. They turned off the rest of them. But now it's just 1 through 10 because they didn't want OpenAI and all these other companies going out and grabbing data from deeper onto the web because that source of data is not as trusted. And I think that's what led to some of those incorrect responses.
It gave me a little bit of peace of mind to know when you hear artificial intelligence, I immediately went to Jetsons or CIA or something that's just like something I can't put my head around and I'm not going to be a part of it. It's scary. It's bigger than me. It's like Big Brother. But it's actually data that we put there for years and years and years that this compiling tool is really good at bringing together and communicating to you in a way that you can understand it, to your voice, to who you are, is the way that I understand it. So that's why I'm okay chatting with it.
Well, yeah,
and there are evil people, right? There are people that'll.
There are.
Didn't somebody warp? You got mail. I mean,
right.
Somebody used that inappropriately, probably.
Well, and how many phone call scams do we get a day?
100.
Just. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's definitely data driven based on the history of humanity, right? But you're seeing it do cool things like find proteins that can in cells that will alter how we produce medicine, solving mathematical equations that humans haven't been able to, based on our previous knowledge. So
sorry, I just pointed. I pointed. Tyler looked like what's going on? big wave coming in. Ashley, you got one more. I'm going to ask one more question, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, so Mandy got on here and said, so cool, can I have an autograph after the show? I know there's 3 of us. I'm assuming she's asking me.
100%.
So, yep, 100%, Mandy. I will sign anything, T-shirts, whatever you got. But I love this question from Jeremy Blanton, who's so excited that you're on the big stage.
Thanks, Jeremy.
He wants to know the last time Tyler Googled something.
Oh, I still do it all the time. And it sounds stupid, but I use Safari on my phone. Yeah, I still Google.
Jeremy, it's so interesting that when AI was a thing, when it started becoming a thing, you had what in the world were the people at Google thinking? Because Google was the main search engine. Of course, YouTube tried to knock them off the throne, but then AI comes, and I think eyeballs were off of Google for a minute. But now, if you Google, what happens? It gives you the AI version, the AI answer first.
here's an example of like a question I would ask Perplexity versus Google. I said, can I ship stuff to myself for an upcoming stay at MGM? Because I had all the hats, these hats for Victoria. And I was like, Google's not going to give me that answer instantaneously. It's going to send me just a link to their site, and then I got to click and look at FAQs and find out the information there. Perplexity's like, yes, although it's very expensive, they charge a holding fee, and it's giving me all the details, and here's how to do it, here's the address, like all just in one response. So that's what I'm using Perplexity for, is getting the answer without me searching deeper for it.
Love it. So to wrap up, we've got just about 5 minutes left, and then we'll head out of here for Rise Up in Real Estate. Tell me, Tyler, the one thing, and this might take you a minute to kind of gather yourself an answer, but what's the one thing that you're most excited about on the horizon for you? Like, it may be AI related, may not be, but what is it that you're here for this and you're fired up moving forward?
It's one of those blank stare at the wall moments.
Oh yeah, and you may not, and all of you think the same thing. Like, what is it that?
I think it's getting time back. I mean, honestly, you're seeing. I mean, even the thousands of hours I've spent developing Tori, you're going to see stuff like that. Agents are going to be able to automate portions of their business with a single prompt. Like, you're going in probably a year, you're going to be able to say, I want to fire myself from doing this ever again. And how do I do that? And it will just do it for you.
That's awesome.
It sounds insane, but
yeah,
that's what's going to happen.
I can 100% guarantee you that there's at least one person in this room with the name Fulford that wrote that down, because Mandy's going to be on that as soon as we get home, aren't you? Figure out what we can get. How can we get these things that, a lot of what we do we're not passionate about. We're doing it because it has to be. We want to leverage in order to do, like, I look around the room and I see you guys are great at, and even the listeners here are great at the belly to belly, the face to face, let's make this person feel like I understand where they're coming from and help them get to here. If you can figure out a way that all the minutia doesn't take your time away from doing that.
I'm going to follow up to my comment.
Yeah, please.
Because I had a conversation with Riley Vanderkay, who started a company called Speculo. It's an AI CRM, does automated outreach for your database. And I think that's if I can just get a quick hand count, who here is using Bold Trail or a CRM, right? Does anyone enjoy working in their CRM? No. So it's literally going to be a single prompt for you to run any campaign to anyone in your database without you having to manually go in and say, hey, send everyone in this market an email this week. It's going to do the research and send that out for you. So that's what I'm excited about.
Awesome. Thank you, Tyler, for being here. Getting time back is important. I think that's what this is all about. He is super available. I would like to shout out his Tech with Ty newsletter that he does weekly. If you're not on that list, even those of you that are listening, if you're not on that list, you should be. I learn something almost every week. I'll go to Ashley one more time. You might have something else to say.
I just want you guys to know that we're finishing out this live stream with a picture that Mandy sent us of Tyler, bright orange hair.
Look at there. Right? It's right there. See it? The bright orange hair. There it is.
Yeah. That's going on the live stream right now,
Love
Tyler.
it.
So thanks to Mandy. Thanks to Lawton working his magic in the background. And well done. Thank you, both of you.
I'm so excited that he picked up AI when he did, because that hair needed to go.
Yep.
Rise Up Nation, thank you for being here. We're in the middle of Season 8 with Rise Up in Real Estate, and we appreciate you. Look forward to seeing you next week on the live stream. You can catch this episode on all your podcast channels on Monday. It'll be called Rise Up in Real Estate Season 8. Tyler, thank you very much, man, for being excellent. See you guys very soon.